Alright, so we're going to begin momentarily. Just as a reminder, this will be group 2. So we're going to have the in-card game, and we're going to have hammers breaking locks for our first match here between Jetabb and TEEX88. So this is going to be a fun watch for sure. And my guess for the first world is going to be World 4. I think that tends to be one I see a lot as the first world, although it is randomizer, so we never know. Got World 5, World 3. Those are some good choices as well, yeah. As a runner, I kinda wonder what you want to see first. Oh, Sleepy Domino, shout out to you. You guessed 100% correctly. It was World 5. So we're starting out with 4, 5, which is canon level. And for those of you who haven't really seen SMB3 before compared to like Mario Maker, one of the cool features of this level is that the bullets tend to home back at you. So a little bit different from the homing attack bullets I was told Mario Maker had. TEEX is able to get out of the level. Jetabb was trying to go for that item which you have to hit the shell in order to get that item. Meanwhile, TEEX is down 3-5, which is a water level. So level, if you were, lucky and actually had items, you would like to P-wing this level just because of how slower it is on the bottom. But of course, with randomizer, as far as P-wing usage goes, you just kind of have to do 50-50 guesses half the time in order to see whether or not this works. So the interesting thing about World 5 is you're trying to get to the sky level, and sometimes you have to go across, build a bridge to get across the second part of the ground level. Sometimes you just go directly to it from your first level here. And that's what's happening here, is our runners are going to have to play the spiral staircase in order to get up, which is very long pipe, to say the least. I think it's one of the longer levels in SMB3 in general. So, you really hate to see that both of the runners have to play this, but it is what it is at this point. So TEEX is able to get through it nicely. Jetabb was able to get through both levels as well. Decided to go for the power up in the mushroom house. I think that's a good strategy. Definitely early on, you want to make sure you have enough items in your inventory. And as a reminder, the in-card game is on, and so the in-card game spawns in every 8,000 points. And what the in-card game is it's a matching game that allows you to get random items. So we could get anything from hammers, clouds, mushrooms, 1-ups. So it's very useful if you have it in play, for sure. And with hammers breaking blocks, it's even more better. So TEEX has found a coin ship, and the coin ship allows you to basically access regular hammer builders. In SMB3, it's usually an auto-scroller, but we have auto-scrollers turned off, except for 2 levels. So TEEX and Jetabb both went different ways. There's 3 levels here that you could have chosen from. TEEX did I think 6-4, and Jetabb is doing 7-4, which is a water level. So TEEX has now found 3-9, which usually has something like called an H jump in Super Mario Bros. 3 speedrunning. So I find it a little bit easier actually in Randomizer, just because the enemy spawn set seems to be a little bit better in order to do that. Certain speedrun strats tend to be easier in Randomizer, others tend to be a lot harder. Teeks is going for, oh, almost got it. That's kind of a tough maneuver to get in 1-5, but pretty easy enemy spawn set there, and he's going to move on to the World 1 airship. And this is the World 7 airship. So the airships themselves are randomized, but the Troopelings are not randomized. You're going to still see World 3 and so on. But the big difference with the Troopelings is that their hits are randomized, so it's anywhere between 1 to 5 hits. We'll see how many hits it is, or if Teeks just gets the fire kill. Looks like Teeks is pretty close to the fire kill. He puts it. It will always be 10 fireball hits for a fire kill. And that's just a nicely done World 1. Teeks is out there around 457, it looked like. So we can get our guesses for what our second world's going to be. I'll go with World 6. Make things interesting early. I think World 6 tends to be one of the more annoying worlds. And we got World 7. Got Pipe World here. So I think World 7 and SMB3 tends to be the hardest one for a lot of players. Luckily, in Randomizer, you're really able to avoid playing a lot of levels, as you see Teeks just going through 2 pipes, and damn, he's on the final island. Sometimes it could be, the tough thing about World 7, especially in Randomizer, is with all the randomized pipes, you gotta find your way to the end. But sometimes, like Teeks was able to do, if you're just able to get to the end quickly, you can have a nice, quick, easy blow. We'll see if this breaks this log. I believe this was the only fort. Oh no, there was another fort I missed, so Teeks can either gamble with the plant to get a hammer or try to find the other fort. He's going to go back for the in-card game. See if we get any matches. Nothing so far. I don't think our runners have a hammer unless Peach gave it to them, so... but luckily Teeks is able to immediately find the next ports. So, really good World 7 routing here by Teeks. Meanwhile, Warpless is being taken care of by Jetabb. It looked like it was a 3-hitter, so pretty standard there. He's going to be out there with 657. We'll be joining Teeks in World 7. We'll see if he's able to have as much success in finding the final island. Alright, so Teeks is just going to music box the plant level, which, if you're going to music box, you definitely want to music box the plant levels, because those are the longer of the hammer bro type stages, so that's definitely a smart move there. Teeks able... I couldn't tell if that was a fire kill or that was just a one-hitter. I think that was just a one-hitter. Either way, you would have gotten it either way. So Teeks is out of there with about 750. Very nice world, and put your guesses in there for the next world. I'll go with... I don't know. I'll go with 6 again. A Jet World 7? Yeah, that happens in Rando sometimes. Hey, it is World 6. See, I guessed correctly. I definitely wasn't guessing for a few worlds in a row there. Meanwhile, Jetabb's going to go for the in-card game as well. See how much success. Alright, looks like we got some information there. Teeks is immediately playing the first port here, which is 6F2, our ice port. Doing a nice wiener strat. So Jetabb's going to play the plant level. I think this is actually a pretty smart move early on to try to gamble to see if he can get a hammer for that lock. Just a music box. Meanwhile, I think we see 2 locks that I saw for World 6, so it looks like TEEX should be good on 4th stage required to play. It looked like I think one of those locks was in an unfortunate spot where if he wanted to hammer to rock, it would probably break the lock. You kind of hate to see the locks and rocks spawn next to each other like that. Ooh, it looks like the way this is set up, you're gonna have to play both boards anyway. And we welcome in our raiders from SpeedGaming. Welcome to the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Group C. Our randomizer races here. We got TEEX88 versus Jetabb. And we are just underway here with our first of 2 matches here. TEEX is right now in our 3rd world, where Jetabb we're right about to enter it. And unfortunately, we found one of the worst levels in all of Randomizer, which is 6-6. To me personally, I think this can be absolutely the worst level in all of Randomizer, just because the water enemies can make it a very unfortunate time in Randomizer. It's not really a terrible level in the regular SMB3 game. When you have to deal with all those bloopers and Big Bird does, it can really take a task. Oh, golly, that's ugh. And see right there, that's another thing. Is that right at the end you can get trolled by some spam enemy right at the end of 6-6. This is why this is just one. I think this is one just awful. And that's the most painful part of 6-6 too, is if you get killed right there at the end, you have to go back and do the treacherous water swim all over again. Meanwhile, Jetabb able to get through the first fort. Gonna play some Hammer Brothers here to see, probably to see if we can get a hammer. Maybe you go for the rock. I don't think you do, just because there's 2 there. Jetabb does find a cloud. I don't think TEEX did play that Hammer Brother, so that could come into play later. Meanwhile, TEEX has found 7F2, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, I missed where that other pipe was, so all 4 pipes are right next to each other, I see, so I missed where that 4th pipe was, so the pipes are completely useless in World 6, go figure. World 6 being annoying as usual. Anyway, meanwhile, TEEX able to execute the first part of 7F2 nicely. This is what I consider to be the toughest level in the regular game of SMB3, just with all those plants everywhere, and then you're having the duck underneath in the second part. It can just get real annoying. Alright, so our second fort is 7F1. Or a 3rd fort in this world, I should say. 7F1 is a level that has no enemies, but you have to fly up in order to eat food. So if you don't come in with a leaf, you have to go through that Tanuki suit sequence, which isn't bad with the mushroom. Some players would consider dying and then coming in with a leaf if you don't already come in with it, but I think that's the smart move. If you have a mushroom, it's just to go through it. Alright, looks like Jetabb was able to find a mushroom in that other one, and now Jetabb's going to enter 6-6. We'll see how much fun he's going to have with this fun level. Meanwhile, TEEX able to find 5-6, which is normally an auto-scroller. The auto scrollers are turned off, so it's a nice, easy, quick level now. And you should be getting another in-card game his way now. I think it looks like TEEX is just going to ignore the in-card game and move on to the airship. This is a nice airship. This is the World 4 airship, so this is a nice airship to have the tail with because you're able to make that last jump easier. I actually did see today you can actually make that running jump as without the tail, but it's like really tough. The easier way, if you don't have the tail, is just to do a PC strat in that level, which looks and is very fun to execute, if I may add. TEEX able to get through a very long World 6 with 1442. Meanwhile, Jetabb able to get through 6-6, very nicely done, is going to take on 7F2. That's kind of brutal right there, having to immediately do 7F2 right after 6-6. And the worst part about it is, you know, these two forts right here aren't even going to get you anything. They don't break any useful locks or build any useful bridges. They're just in your way. Alright, so we have come across World 4, and we have a lock and a bridge that needs to be built. So chances are you're going to need this fort right here. There could be 3 forts, but chances are you're definitely going to need this fort. So it is 4F2, which I think is a great sign. I think that gives us a 100% chance of being a useful fort. And yeah, that built the bridge. So if we have a hammer here, we can actually probably get a quick exit to this world. Looks like TEEX is going to go through the in-card game now. Got a few items here. Let's see what we get here. Meanwhile, I believe Jetabb entered with the lead for P-Wing, so very nice heads-up play by Jetabb to enter with that. I guess we probably don't have a hammer, so we're gonna go ahead and play 4F1 for TEEX. A little bit of a troll boo there. That's the tougher top path to do. There's a top path and a bottom path. And the bottom path through the pipes, I find it a little bit easier. It's just not as quick. But the top path can be tricky with the thwomps and the randomized enemies, because a lot of boos and hotshots like to spawn in the way. So I think TEEX is just gambling for a hammer here. I think that's a good play. You always want to have a few hammers and clouds, and Jetabb actually played a different level than TEEX there, which was the first tank, and that gave him a cloud. Wow, so that's 2 clouds that Jetabb's able to have there that TEEX currently doesn't have. So we'll see if he's able to make good use of them. So TEEX is back in and able to take care of 4F1 no problem now. Able to do a very tight and cool looking jump with that last thwomp. And I believe looking at the world layout that this has to break the lock, and it does. Meanwhile, Jetabb able to beat the airship with a time of about 1811, very nicely done. Look like a very relatively quick World 4 here. You just have to play 2 forts here, but still compared to some World 4s I've seen, very quick one. Like a 3-hitter there, and we are out of World 4. World 4 was in World 4. I didn't even notice that. So we'll see what our next world is. Meanwhile, Jetabb entering the world, or 4F2. I'm gonna go ahead and build this bridge over here. Of course, I'm sure, yeah, he's thinking what everyone's thinking. I see a lock and I see a bridge, so definitely need to play this. So it looks like we're in world 2. Okay, this could be, if we have a hammer here, this is going to be a quick world. Alright, do we have a hammer? We do. Yeah, and, yep. Alright, for Jet World there. So we're out of World 2 just like that. We entered, and then now we are exiting to the World 6 airship. The TEEX was going for a clip there. It's pretty tough to get, honestly. But it definitely looks cool and can save a little bit of time since you don't have to go through all those burners. Just a one hitter there, and we are off to our next world. I don't even know if that was a minute. We were there so short, I didn't even get a chance to take a look at the scenery. Meanwhile, Jetabb going to do some more of the in-car game. Looks like he's making some good progress. There might be a hammer in the in-car game. I actually didn't see what our in-car gameplay was, but definitely got a hammer from somewhere, that's for sure. Alright, so we got World 3, which can have a double hammer play that can be useful at times. If I have F1 and Randomizer, it's actually a pretty easy speedrun strat in the vanilla game, but with the randomized Warpless, it makes it a little bit tougher for you to be able to avoid damage and keep speed. Yeah, I don't think the double hammer play there. That might end up being the pipe that we need to go to, but still, that kind of looked like a mess over there. And yeah, that is the pipe that we have to go to over there. So looks like play a level in either hammer or play a fort. We'll see what the decision is after this. I'd probably play that fort just because it's right there. Not having to deal with pick out fort, it's just really an additional fort. Meanwhile, Jetabb is going into the 4F1 fort, and he's really not. It looks like Jetabb's very far behind here, but he's really not, because the next world, if he plays it right, can also be a jet for him if he has a hammer and just chooses to cloud like TEEX did. So yeah, TEEX gonna go ahead and play this fort. It is 8F1, kind of a longer fort, especially if you're not able to get the one cycle at the end here. But still, a pretty easy choice to make here. Nicely able to get the AOP speed. See if the enemy spawn set is good to be able to get the one cycle. And wow, look at that. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make that, but look at that clutch timing to be able to get the one cycle. Very nicely done. And nice fire kill of Boo-Boo. See the music boxes. Alright, so I'm going to play the hammer right here. And we traded a star for a star. TEEX is going to be on his way to Windy. Meanwhile, Jetabb's going to check out to see how World 2 treats him. Yeah, that was absolutely just barely bitty guy. That was very impressive. So Windy can be one of the tougher Koopalings to deal with. Kind of want to go for the fire kill, but with the World 2 airship, this is a very tough arena. And TEEX able to get by. Took a little bit of damage, but you just want to get past Windy. You don't really care if you're small going into the next world. So we'll see, looks like we'll have our next world. Sub 30, this might not be in there. I did roll the seed, so I guess I can roll somewhat not too terrible seeds from time to time. But we haven't seen World 8 yet, so we need to hold that for later. Meanwhile, TEEX failed 1F, which does not break required locks or bridges, but still breaks them if they're in the path. And yeah, so he's gonna go ahead and play that to skip 2 levels, or play 1 less level, if you will, there. Which I think is a wise move. If you go for the item, it does not break the lock. So that's the reason why he went ahead and went for Boom Boom as opposed to going for the item. And TEEX is just going to Cloud, Music Box, and he is out of World 7. We got the World 3 airship here. Going to be a flat surface here, so shouldn't be too bad of a fight here with Iggy. So we got a 3-hitter, 4-hitter, and we got a 5-hitter. TEEX might go for the a little bit late, but that's very tough to do without P-Wing. TEEX was going to go for the screen wrap there. But still getting out of there with around 2620 going into World 8, you feel like you're in a very great position anytime you're able to get that. And with the right World 8, we could have a sub 30. You'll never know. Meanwhile, Jetabb still in the World 3, 6th world. Oh, and Peach gives us a hammer going into World 8. So hammers do break locks, so we'll see what kind of plays we make here. We got the anchor too. I didn't see what the anchor is. But anchors can be any item except for a hammer. That's like our wild card item in Randomizer, so yeah. If it's a cloud, it could be somewhat useful. Usually in World 8, you don't have many levels, tiles that would be in the way that you could cloud. But sometimes, especially in Bowser's castle screen, there's usually there could be a level at the end that's just nice to have a cloud for. So TEEX gonna go ahead and play Desert Fort. I definitely think it's good to go ahead and play a fort or two at first, even if you don't find Bowser's Castle right away, because pretty much every seed you're not going to be able to go without playing at least one fort. I was wondering if TEEX would consider hammering that or not, but I'm going to go ahead and decide to just go to the other pipe with the hand level. So there are 0 to 4 bridges that could be in front of Bowser's Castle. That's the big reason why you want to play forts, and there are 4 forts per world, or per World 8. We got 2 tank icons. One of the tanks is a fort, and one of the tanks is not. And then, of course, you have the Air Force icon and the Navy icon, which are both forts. And then you just have the regular World 8F tile. So we'll see if this is the regular level or the fort, and it is the regular level. So probably going to take a death here, or maybe just go ahead and play it for overworld purposes. I could see either way here. And we have seen two locks, so we know that there is only one more possible fort needed. And we've seen 3 locks now, so we know we're good if we find Bowser's Castle. Alright, it must be behind that lock at the beginning. That would be my guess. Jetabb is going to go ahead into World 1. Meanwhile, TEEX is going to go ahead and play another fort here. Now, with hammers breaking blocks, I'll probably go back and check that other pipe. But yeah, maybe you just want to go ahead and play a fort. At this time and just not wander around World 8. Yeah, so TEEX's gonna go ahead and hammer this. Okay, so what I was talking about before as far as 1F just happened with Jetabb, which is if you go for the item, the lock doesn't break, so that's what happened there. But anyway, TEEX has found Bowser's Castle. He has entered it as Fire Mario, and we're going to try to see if we can get the fire kill. See if we get first try top clip. Almost. Second try, nice. Alright, it takes 40 fireballs to kill Bowser. And not a problem at all. Get your GG's out for TEEX88, who has taken game 1 of our 2-game matchup here. With an official SMB3 race time GG time of 31 minutes and 50 seconds. It takes 35 fireballs. Well, I like to round up. It rounds up to 40, so. So, I actually think Jetabb can have a pretty quick World 8 here, actually, since Peach gives you the hammer here, and if he goes ahead and just hammers this pipe, could have a pretty quick World 8 here. Yeah, that's right, sure. My seeds take 5 more fireballs, so that's what happened. That's exactly what I meant. Yeah, and Jetabb gonna go ahead and hammer this. Oh, I guess that hammer broke with it, and look at that, it is a jet. World 8 for Jetabb. Not as easy as you can get for World 8. 2 different approaches to World 8 for sure. But when hammers break locks, you have the opportunity to get World 8s like this. For our next race that will happen coming up right after this one, this would not be a play, as hammers do not break locks. So Jetabb's going to go for top route to Bowser's Castle. We saw TEEX go for the clip, and the reason he goes for the clip is what you saw right there. Randomized fireballs, randomized lasers, and that was just a nasty, nasty top room. That was nasty as you can see it. But Jetabb has made it to Bowser's room, and going to be going for the Bowser kill the old-fashioned way. Just going to let Bowser sit on him. Hitboxes don't exist in this seed or any other seed or even in the official SMB3 game. Bowser just lets Mario sit on him, and that'll be that. Get your GGs out for Jetabb with an official race time GG score of 35 minutes and 9 seconds. We're going to be setting up game 2 and starting immediately after, so stay tuned for game 2. SpeedGaming 6, thank you for the raid of 135. We are getting set up for game 2 of our 2-game group stage match of Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer. And that will be starting just momentarily. Progression 0 versus progression 1. I do not believe it matters. I believe the randomizer supports both, but it needs to be the US version. Yeah, actually, that's a good catch there, Sean. I wasn't really sure a lot of the differences between the progression 0 versus the progression 1 versions. I knew there were some differences, but I could not have told you all the different differences. So our second race is going to be coming up, and our second race is going to be Group 2, no hammer lock, which means it's going to be the exact same flags that we saw, except instead of locks being able to be broken by hammers, that will no longer be a factor. So a lot more forts are going to have to be played, and our hammers are only going to be useful on rocks this time. In worlds 2, 4, 6, and 3. And this is not a best of 3, this is the group stage, so we're just having 2 matches here no matter what happens. As we are in 4-player group stages of pods, and the top 2 from each advance on to the bracket round. And we are going to be set up just momentarily here. So for the first world, I'm going to go with World 4 again. We'll see what it ends up being. That'll be my guess. Worlds 1 through 7 are randomized. World 8 will always be World 8. And we are off, and it is once again World 5. But this time, oh wow, so we have 7-6 to come up with, and since both of our runners are small, there's going to be no clipping, no p-winging, we're just going to have to play 7-6. Now, who rolled this seed? I wonder. So this is actually going to be interesting because this is a level that not too many people would actually be too familiar with. The inside of it, just because you really are not in many situations where you would have to play it. So TEEX unfortunately takes a death. A lot of these moving platforms you see are in this level. I don't think they're in any other level. Well, actually, they are in 4F2 now that I think about it, if you take the secret exit. But yeah, this is a very interesting start, to say the least. Yeah, you cannot clip a small Mario, so having to play the level the old-fashioned way. Wow, what a start. To be quite honest with you, with some of these moving platforms, I really don't know what the intended way to go is. I just kind of cross my fingers half the time and hope the moving platform takes me up. So Jetabb is going to take an early lead here. He was able to navigate through that very nicely. That's a very tough level to go with, especially if you're not used to playing with it. So big props to him. It's going to go ahead and go for a Mushroom House early. I think that's very smart. We saw exactly how useful an early item would be just from that first level alone. And he's got a hammer suit, which is going to be useful for Bowser. We'll go ahead and go for another one, which is a frog suit. Meanwhile, TEEX just going to go straight to Skyworld. And probably going to fight this Hammer Brother. And we got Fire Bros here. Let's see if TEEX, yep, nicely done. And we got some Hammer suits. And we have 7F2 here. And yeah, that is a good question, MIDI guy. Do we have backtracking that is required here? That is a possibility. So in World 5, there is Sky World, and then there's the Ground World. And the Sky World has your end here that you want to get to, so it's always a challenge to try to figure out how to get to the Sky World. But then, you know, there's always the possibility that there's just locks that are going to be in the way of Sky World. that you might have to go back to the ground world to defeat a fort. Just because the ground world's kind of separated into two, and the bridge is... I don't think the bridge is ever built in ground world. I think you just always have to build it. So yeah, there's going to be backtracking here, and actually, yeah, I think you're going to have to go back to... Yeah, you're going to have to go through the spiral staircase, because that just built the bridge. This is a World 5 for the ages. Oh, wow, okay. So... This is something else. I don't think I've seen a World 5 that's this nasty. But this is entertaining for all of us, so... yeah, so Teeks took a death to the waffles there. In Randomizer, the waffle pattern is randomized, and also in general, it's just hard to get through. And so our runner's going to have to go through the spiral staircase, through the bridge, and then through the fort, and we're in sync here. This is absolutely astounding here. Both of our runners are in spiral staircase here, trying to make our way to the other side, of which we will see a fort. And there's a level in the way too, so we're going to play an additional level. And well, we do have a break for once. It is the first hand stage. And so the hand trap stages all give you the same item, but it is a randomized item. So our item for today is a mushroom. So if we see the other two hand trap stages, that's what it is, a mushroom. And we have 7F2. Or 7F1, excuse me. And so, I don't know if Teeks has a leaf. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to go through the Tanuki suit routine here as Small Mario. Yeah, because I think the hand stage gave you a mushroom, so I guess you could have died to get the mushroom, but I don't think that's worth it at all either. Yeah, chat's gonna win this seed for sure. It would be tough to plan a worse layout for this World 5. I don't really think you can, so... Jetabb gonna go for the Hammer Brothers, was able to get a star. Teeks able to get through 7F1 after going through the Tanuki suit routine. And we've still got another level to go. We'll see if he decides to play the Hammer Brothers. He does not. Oh no, we have 2 levels left, not 1 level, so... Looks like we have 6, 7, which is normally an auto-scroller, but now is just an easy donut level. Meanwhile, Jetabb actually entered in with the mushroom he got from the hand stage, so I'm going to save a little bit of time there, not having to go through the mushroom routine. So we do have in-car games in play here, but probably not as useful as last time since hammers do not break locks. But nonetheless, if you get a cloud or something from it, feel really good, especially early on. So Teeks has made his way to the first airship. We'll see how many hits. Just a one-hitter. It looks like we got something nice from World 5. TEEX is going to be out there with a time of 8:25. Get our guesses for what our next world is. Usually I consider World 6 the world that tends to cause headaches, but we just saw right there that World 5 can do the same thing. World 1, World 4, World 7. Gungan was correct. It is World 7. And we got 3 pipes. And TEEX just going to go ahead and found a 4, going to go ahead and play it. I think that's very smart. Probably a 90% chance that I'm just going to have to play a fort, especially when hammers don't break locks. So go ahead and play it, then try to find the final island. Oh, Jet's able to beat the 2 levels. Is off to the World 1 airship himself. Wow. That is true. That is a very, very tough clip, and a very, very costly one too if you miss it with the lava pit being down below. So we got the lava fort and the water fort all in the same seed. And this is a 3-forter actually. I just noticed that there's a 3rd fort there, so... And 2 forts were required, so the first fort that TEEX played actually did save a lock there that was needed to be broken. So we're going to have to find our way to that first island. There is 2 pipes there, but there is a possibility that one of those pipes goes to like the mushroom house or to the out of bounds area. So Jack going to play the water fort and find the bad news that it is useless. TEEX going to go to this last pipe here. Probably thinks this is where the second island is. And it was, and we have an additional level that needs to be played, which is 1-6. And TEEX has actually got the tail, so he'll probably go for the P-Speed strat now. This is a very easy P-Speed strat in the vanilla speedrun, but in Randomizer, because we have random enemies, that's pretty much never going to work, unless you have the tail. So we have an in-cart game awaiting when we go back to that pipe. And we now have 6F1. He's going to go for the damage boost strat here. Meanwhile, Jet's going to find one of the first 2 required forts. Yeah, I agree, Eddie. We have had 2 worlds in a row that have made you go all the way out of your way to find these forts. And this shows you right here how hammers not breaking locks makes a huge difference. Now, I don't think we've actually had any hammers, so it's not like we could do much anyway. But if there were hammers in play, yeah, they could break locks. This just shows you right here how much of a time difference it could be. But that fort in particular built a bridge, so it's not like, I guess, hammers breaking locks would have made a huge difference here, except for one fort. And so TEEX, I don't think had a music box, so I'm gonna go ahead and play the plant level, which was just a star. Jet's also in the plant level. And TEEX is gonna be playing the World 1 airship. Just have a star. And Earthquake, but just a 2-hitter. TEEX is out of World 2 with a time of 14:12. I think that just tells you right there how long it got reaching of a Cetus with. Jet, actually, I just noticed he found where that other pipe went to, so he just skipped a level right there. So yeah, I think Jet's gonna catch up a little bit here because I think he routed the world pretty good. Meanwhile, we have World 3, which is actually one of the major hammer plays if we're gonna have them, which is the famous double hammer right here at the beginning of the level. I don't think we have 2 hammers though, so I don't think that's going to be in play unless I miss some items. So we're going to enter Desert Fort first. Got boom booms on both screens getting taken out. And dropping their orbs. How nice of them. Yeah. Double hammer in these circumstances isn't like game changing since you only have to play 2 additional levels after the first level. In some situations you could see like 4 additional levels, and in that case double hammer is really good. But here, yeah, just 2 levels, and then we see 3 pipes. Even if you had hammers here, I think it would be a good choice just to gamble and wait for World 6. World 2 for that matter. I think Jet played the other plant. No, he played... Okay, I actually got mixed up. Jet was playing the first plant level at first, and that's where he found that secret pipe, and he went back and played the second plant level. Okay. Meanwhile, the next level for TEEX is 2-4. Doing a very impressive P-speed strat here. Very tough with all these randomized items. Able to knock out the troll boomerang bro at the end. And now we'll see if one of these pipes takes us over there. And actually there's 4 pipes here, I miscounted. So surely one of these pipes takes us to Windy. And it's this first pipe. Nice. And we got the World 6 airship, which is probably the airship if you had a P-wing, you would want a P-wing with how quick it is. But you can also do that, just clip through, have some swag, save a little bit of time. Ooh, unfortunately took a little damage there, probably didn't want that since you have Windy here, definitely want the fire kill. But TEEX gonna go for those close hits, get Windy as quickly as possible. Nasty 5-hitter, luckily it was a flat surface. And a really well played World 3, able to get out there with a time of 17:38. And we'll see what our next world is. Luckily, World 3 was actually a lot better than our first 2 worlds. Boom Boom being a little mean in the Desert Fort. I would probably have to guess that this broke the lock in front of Windy, so I think that fort's required. Alright, so we see 2 forts here. This fort is not required. So Gonna have to play the fort behind the other level, but we saw where the other lock was. It's not in a bad place, so it's actually in a very good place, so TEEX can just go ahead and go for the item here, which is a flower. That is normally where the first warp whistle is. Warp whistles are turned off for this flag set. The randomizer does have warp whistles, it's just most of the time they're not raced with. I find Next World warp whistles very interesting to race with, where you just use a warp whistle and you're able to skip a world. I think that's good for racing purposes, or can be interesting for racing purposes. Vanilla warp whistles, not so much. So anyways, we have found the Ice Fort, 6F2. Yes, a very swaggy H jump indeed. I believe we saw 3-9 twice today, so always very cool to see that. Able to get an easy fire kill. Boom Boom just hanging out on the ice. And broke that lock that we needed and got 2 additional levels to go. It looks like this is 7-8. This first section can be a little bit annoying if you're small, however, with firepower, it's pretty easy jumps here. A lot of runners like to go down this first pipe. It looks like TEEX isn't. He's just going to go for this P-speed strat, and, which is quicker if you're able to nail it, and it is very tough to nail, so major props to him for nailing this in this randomizer race. TEEX is going to go back for the in-card game. I probably have some items here that looked good. Might be able to finish it off here, we'll see. Alright, one more time for the in-card game, but we'll see. We have a cloud here, we don't know, so I think it's going to be tough to be able to get speed here. We'll see if he's able to. No, just going to go the note block way. Having a tail in this level is very nice because you're able to just fly over. Even without P-speed, you're just able to fly over a little bit. Just takes a few tail waggles. You can do a tough P-speed strat even in rando, but it's a little bit tough, depending on the enemy spawn set you get. Yeah, I think I've been trying to go for that very tough note block clip. We actually saw that being executed in a randomizer race earlier. Very tough. Very rare, too. So anyways, we have the World 7 airship right now, while Jet has found the World 6 airship with Windy. We'll see if Jet's able to get the fire kill. Looks like he's going to be able to. Oh, just one off. That's I feel that pain there. She has a 5-hitter though, so this could be tough. Meanwhile, TEEX able to get past the 7 airship very nicely. And Jet able to get through Windy as well, so very nice. So what's our next world going to be? I'll go with 6. Hydroman says 2. And it is World 6. This could be a pretty nasty one because it looks like we have Pick a Fort. We're at the beginning. And look like, I think I saw TEEX had a hammer, so we might see a hammer rock play here. Since we don't see any early pipes. able to get through 3-2. And now we are seeing 4F2. I think this is probably a good sign if you see this fort. This randomizer, so you never know, but I would say it's a good sign if you see it. Don't know what that broker built, but it did something. Deke's gonna go ahead and play this hammer. So we saw two pipes there. Oh, but okay, so he played the right fort, and look at that. We're out of World 6. Just like that, the hammer rock play paid off nicely. And that's a very relieving World 6 there. It looked like it could have been bad if that pipe went somewhere else, but luckily it wasn't. It was pretty tame. Just had to guess the right fort, break a rock, and off we go to the next world. We'll see what World 6 is, or the 6th world is. Alright, looks like we got World 4 here. A hammer play could skip a level here, but yeah, it's not going to be useful here. You could just use the pipe right there, so yeah, usually the hammer rock plays are not useful at all in World 4. We'll see if it's a play in World 2, though. Yeah, looks like we're just gonna have to play 2 levels here, just a fort and then another level before the airship. And if TEEX has a cloud, then we're just going to... Oh, we have an anchor. I might... Don't know what the anchor is. Might gamble with the anchor and see if it is a cloud at this point. I know you have firepower, but I think it's a good gamble at this point. Is going to use the music box, not going to gamble with the anchor. And gets a pretty, the beta levels. I don't think we've seen a beta level today, actually. But this is the 7.3 beta level. And there were about, I think, 8 or 10 beta levels that were lost levels, as we call them, that the SMB3 Randomizer adds. It's pretty refreshing. I like to see them. Meanwhile, Jet has found 7-8, and now we're going to get to see what this item is in 7-8. It is a randomized item, usually the hammer suit in SMB3, and we've got the frog suit. 1%? Perhaps. Meanwhile, Lemmy has been disposed of, and we are off to World 2. That's going to roll with this frog suit. I'm not entirely sure yet. Okay, so you cannot make that jump with the frog suit either. I figured not, but the weird diagonal motion of the frog suit, I wasn't quite sure. And you can't swim very fast, as you saw there. Doesn't look like the hammer plays really all that great here, since it looks like the pipe goes to the next screen. But for our first level, we see the super tanks. And without the auto-scrolling, going to be a quick, easy one. Very nicely done. Peaks just went with the Fire Flower. Maybe saving that Anchor Gamble for later. We have 3-1 here, which is a pretty tame, easy water level. Sometimes you can have some bad enemy spawn sets, but there's just so few enemies level in general. Usually not an issue with it. So we'll see where this pipe goes to. Gonna go ahead and check. And yeah, so the hammer play is absolutely useless. Use the pipe here, and it's you don't even have to play an extra fort. Although TEEX did have the hammer if wanted to go that direction, since this is the last opportunity to use the hammer. And good, that's definitely an item you want to see after all the hammerable plays are gone. Another hammer. So our last level in World 2 is 7-4, or 6-4, excuse me. Which, as you saw in the beginning, a lot of lag. It's pretty annoying in that sense with the number of enemies that are spawned at the beginning that cause you to lag there. But I was able to get early P speed there, which was a very nice touch. And TEEX is off to the next airship. Jet doing a play I like to and agree with. If you have the tail on that level, just go ahead and take a damage boost with that plant there. Save it like a second or two. And Jet's going to play the right fort as well, so if Jet hammers there, you can have a quick, easy World 6 as well. Alright, so how many bridges for Bowser this time? We had 0 last time. With hammers not breaking locks, I feel like it's going to be pretty lock heavy, so I'll say 1 bridge this time. But we will see. So we gotta lock immediately, so we have to we have to go into this pipe, which goes around, okay. Well, no diverging a pass here. Yeah, I think you just go ahead and play this fort, since you don't want to come back to this screen at all. Since the next pipe's just going to take you probably to Dark World, and you can just eliminate the possibilities of where your forts are that you have to play. So we've seen 1 lock, that's it. This could break that lock, but we probably won't ever know. There's no reason to go back to that first screen. Yeah, this is a very linear world, eh? Definitely not going to get lost here, that's for sure. And now we see our second fort, which is 8F. We'll see if TEEX is able to get a 1 cycle again. Again, the randomized enemies makes it very tough to get this done. And nicely executed again. Gonna take a tensional damage boost there to be able to quickly get across a small Mario. And now a required level. Luckily it's not Atlantis or anything, we just have to play the pyramid level here. So you need to use these shells that will always be there in Randomizer in order to break these blocks. So these enemies will not be randomized. That way you won't have to figure out how to use 2 Goombas to be able to break the blocks. Meanwhile, Jet going to go for the fire kill. Lemmy gets it. Is off to the 6th world. So we see 2 pipes, looks like. Okay, so that pipe just goes there, so we're going to have some more World 8 to go. I believe the super tanks have already been played, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what the other icon was, so no reason to play that. I'm going to play our 3rd fort now, which is 5F1. So I broke that lock to the left, which is just a troll hand level. How about that? What a nice lock that broke. Got pulled in. TEEX is just going to take a death here. No reason at all to play this level. Their pipe should be to the right. We'll see if this is it, or rather we're going to have to... I think their last fort's going to be in the way, if I'm not mistaken. No, it is not in the way. It spawned on the left side, so just one bridge. And TEEX has the hammer suit, and he is off in World 8. Yeah, luckily that 6-5 was not required at all, because that was a very yucky 6-5 enemy set. Very long World 8. I guess the good thing, I'm sure if you're TEEX, the good thing you feel like is it's very linear, so I don't have to worry about any routing decisions. It's just more of I just got to play these levels that are in my way. Very nicely done clip. Takes about 4 hammers to get this hammer kill of Bowser. Hi Bowser, bye Bowser. Get your GGs out for TEEX88, who was able to win the second match with an official race time GG time of 36 minutes and 1 second. We will look to have TEEX join us momentarily in the commentator's booth. Meanwhile, Jet is finishing up World 6. Got an earthquake here. Fun 5-hitter. Always love to see those. But yeah, big congratulations to TEEX for being able to finish. That's a very good time with what this seed threw at you, especially the first 2 worlds, and pretty long made as well. Having to play, I think, 2 additional levels along with 3 forts. Meanwhile, Jet's going to see the super tanks. So for TEEX, this was his final matchup group play. Going to advance on to the brackets with a record of 5-1. I do not have his average time in front of me, but I believe it'll probably be somewhere in the mid to low 30s if I were to guess. Jet doesn't look like he has any clouds or hammers, so got a lot of items. So got plenty of items to power boost, damage boost, and just dominate the rest of the seed. Look like I had about 5 different hammer suits. Actually, at that point, when you have that many hammer suits, I get into the mindset of thinking, well, why not start playing them, especially for some of the forts coming up. Yeah, Jet sees that the hammer is useless here. Gonna go on to the 2 tile and take on 6-4. And we welcome in TEEX88 to the commentator's booth. GG, and congratulations on your 2 wins today.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, yeah, those were, those both had some pretty rough moments in both of those seeds in their own ways. Like with, I know the race too, I kind of got tripped up on 7-6 right in the beginning, having to go in there small as the first level, so. Yeah, I think on the, in that first part of the level, I kind of got nicked in the teeth by that prawn as it was going back into the pipe. I was like, really?
Yeah, that was a very brutal start on that second seed to have 7-6 a small Mario. And then to make you go up and down World 5. Something else.
And I also noticed I spent a pretty significant amount of time just trying to do the card game, and it didn't really look like I got much for it for my trouble. There weren't really any clouds, and although there was like at least one hammer that was useful for breaking the rock in World 6 and just going straight to the end, but otherwise, yeah, a lot of it ended up being filled with a bunch of fire flowers and stars I ended up not using. So, but it was at least good to have as, you know, just wiggle room in case something happened in the latter half of the game. I always want to build up an inventory at the start.
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely see how an inventory being built up plays to your advantage. One of the things I noticed too, especially with this black set, is you were talking about the in-card game not being too useful. It really doesn't feel too useful when the hammers don't break locks in general.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, but I specifically chose that that flag set for pretty much all my matches just because I want to rely as much as I can just on execution rather than just worrying about whether my opponent got a hammer that'll allow him to have a much more convenient route.
Yeah, it definitely constrains the routing a lot easier as players aren't able to just take a quick exit with a hammer. So yeah, that's definitely a very smart flag set choice by you. I don't have your official average time, but congratulations on going 5-1. That's very epic. I expect that's an average time of around the mid to low 30s. I got a chance to watch all 6 of your races, and you've done an excellent job. All 6 of them, and you'll definitely be one to watch for in the upcoming brackets.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to you as well. Yeah, I know that both my first matches with Fred Coughlin were like in the low 30s, and both my matches with you, I think, were in the third. We're both 37, so I can imagine my average is probably going to balance out to like 35, 36. Wouldn't be too surprised.
And we now welcome in Jetabb as well. GG on two races. You have any opening thoughts?
I didn't play very well.
I gotta say, personally, I thought you did some excellent moves these 2 races. I really liked how you were able to execute 7-6 first try as small Mario. That's definitely a very tough level to be able to get out in front of.
Which one's that again?
I really thought you did a really great job overall routing as well.
Oh, thank you. Which one's 7-6? Oh, the very first level in the second game? No. Yeah. The one everyone... Well, you really want to power up there so you can just clip through the wall. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Yeah, that one's tough. I haven't played that one normally in a while.
Yeah, that is a really tough one. I don't even think I would be able to do as good as you did on that, for sure. Having to go up and down that world was certainly tough. I do
Right.
want to compliment you too on the first race. You were able to get a pretty quick World 8, just hammering that first pipe there, and that ended up being the way without any forts or levels in the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I messed up with the world before that. Grabbing the secret power up or secret item in the fortress at World 1.
Yeah.
And so I didn't break the didn't get to break the lock there, and I had to play. Would have had to play 4 levels where I used 3 clouds, and I would have been able to just skip all the way to the castle otherwise. I don't think it would have been enough to come back and win that first game, but something to think about.
Yeah, in race one, I opted to do a whole bit more of exploring in World 8 just because I didn't know for sure that breaking that lock was going to bring me to Bowser. So,
oh wow!
As soon as I played the fort and saw that it broke the middle lock in the dark room, I pretty much had my answer. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it can certainly be a gamble, especially in World 8.
I also had a problem with the World 1 Fortress and the second game. I don't want to make excuses, but my button wouldn't register. My jump button, I kept trying to jump and it wouldn't jump, and then it wouldn't, I just couldn't jump for a minute there, but by that point the race was already over.
Yeah, so we're having a few technical issues. I was glad Teeks that I ever drived in just decided to give up in the middle of this.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, my EverDrive just goes through phases where it works really, really well for a couple of months, and then just every once in a blue moon, it just gives me a hard time for about 10 minutes before I finally get started. So this was pretty much par for the course, so I'm kind of used to it. I'm just glad I was able to get it in time before, I don't want SpeedGaming to fall behind in their schedule, so glad everything worked out in the end.
So, Jay, I know you've got a race against Fred coming up tomorrow or Friday. I can't remember.
It's tomorrow at 9.
Tomorrow at 9 p.m. Awesome. So, yeah, that'll definitely be a fun match to watch as well.
Should be. Teeks, congrats on moving to the brackets.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And best of luck on your forthcoming match.
Thank you.
And all right, so I guess I'll wrap things up here. GG to both of y'all. Do either of y'all have any closing thoughts?
Yeah.
Providing commentary.
Yeah, Animus, thank you so much for stepping in for the commentary, as always. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, thanks again to Pro for organizing this tournament and for SpeedGaming for hosting it. Always a lot of fun to be a part of these, and I'm looking forward to the forthcoming matches.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. Thank you all. And good luck again on the brackets.
Thank you.
Both of you. You're both moving on from our group.
Thank you both as well for putting on some great races. Definitely give both of our racers a follow here. TEEX88 and Jetabb, both very cool. I've seen them play a variety of games as well as SMB3 Rando. Give them both a follow. We have another SMB3 Rando race going on right now between Jake Cooper and Bazel, so that'll be a fun one to watch. And we got quite a few races coming up the next few days as group play is wrapping up. So take a look at our SpeedGaming channels for more races. But with that being said, I'm done here for Animus United. I thank you for joining us today for our SMB3 Randomizer group stage, and I hope you'll see you all next time.
Have a good night, everybody.